Seafood's quite a niche. Not many people know where to buy it from. Not many people know how to cook it. And when you're having a tasting menu, it changes daily. It all depends on the weather and what the divers can catch. My name's Andy Beynon, chef owner at Behind Restaurant in the heart of Hackney, London Fields. We're seafood-led. We work mainly with day boats. We typically don't really age fish here. We just dry it out. So this dish is our prawns on toast dish. It's a staple dish that we've had on the menu now for quite a while. And the first process is preparing the Sicilian prawns. So we take the heads out, like so. This is where all the salty flavour is, just in here. So we take all the wonderful head meat, just out like so. And I use the back of a spoon as well, just to scrape it out. So the prawns, they're in between Sicily and Morocco. Manzala. They get this wonderful, like, deep red colour from, like, the warmer climate on that side, and incredibly sweet, creamy, all the skin. The tails are just going to get peeled, like so. And you can see how wonderful and red they are. So we just make sure all the shell's removed just like that. And we just leave a tail piece on here, just removing this. So we've got our guts in here. So what we're gonna do is clean the prawn by removing all this out, so like so. And also, there's a stringy point just down here that needs to get removed. And we don't want to wash a prawn because we'll lose all their flavour. So we just keep it like this. With the heads, what we're going to do is prepare it to be boiled, because this is going to be the base of our prawns on toast. So we're going to take all the sort of legs off there. And this just here, the top, is quite hard, almost unedible. So that's removed. It's quite important now as we remove the eyes. It's quite satisfying. They're very bitter. They're always like quite bitter on fish as well, so even for our stocks, we make sure we remove it. All this trim we have here, there's still so much flavour in it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna essentially like cook it down really slowly and roast it in neutral oil, which is like an oil with no flavour in. And we're gonna make a little emulsion as well to hold the head meat sauce in. And then these are just gonna get put to the side, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna boil them for 20 minutes, and then we're gonna dehydrate them. So really, really soften the shell. And then when they're dry, they get nice and crispy too. So they're ready to stuff with our prawn on toast. So we've just prepped the prawns down. We've got all the head meat just in here. So we're gonna add olive oil to this. Okay, so next we are going to pass the lovely prawn head mix. And then this is our sauce. So this is going to go on the middle of a plate to season the tail. So with the head that's been dried out, we're going to stuff our prawn mousse all the way inside till it just comes out of the end. And we're also going to just run it down the back. And then this is going to get smothered in sesame seeds, just like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to deep fry this now, okay? So we want that really nice, soft, like souffle. You see, just we're just going to cut just a little bit off here. So what will happen is we'll just sit it on the plate nicely. The consommé we're serving is made from whole prawns and wine. And we're gonna serve it with dried shrimps as well around the glass. Okay, so now we're ready for plating. So all of our elements are here. We've got the wonderful prawn on toast, where you can eat the whole head. The tail that's been gently warmed through, so it's above room temp, and the consommé just here too. What I've got here is all the trimmings of the shrimps where we roasted in oil, and we've gently emulsified that. So this is going to go onto the plate. Crispy prawn head goes on. The tail. And this is the sauce we made from the head meat. It's going to go right in the middle. And the idea is that this is going to season the prawn tail. And then we're going to finish it with the consommé. So you can see how red the colour is of this. So that's whole prawns blended with wine. So here we have our Sicilian prawns, my take on prawns on toast, where the whole head is edible, and a consommé just on the side. So now we're going to do the crab croustade. So I'm going to hand it over to Ben to show you how to make the croustade mix.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm one of the chefs here behind. So this is the filling for the croustade. So here we've just got some creme fraiche that I'm going to whip, just seasoned really lightly. And then this here is the base mix. So we've made this from some sweated shallots, and then we sweat down the brown crab meat and emulsify it in the blender with a little bit of olive oil. And then we fold these together at the end to get a nice kind of light end product. Okay, so this is croustade that I'm making here. We make the croustades out of nori seaweed and a batter that we make from beer and milk. Then they just get popped on this iron, let to set, and then finished by deep frying them off here.
So now we have the wonderful croustade mix just there. And you can see all the nori as well, just speckled through. So we've got the salty fingers here. So what we're going to do is we just gently cut them just down like so. And they add a lot of flavour too because they're super juicy just in the middle. Okay, so we're going to add lemon gel for acidity.
We fill the croustade with some salty fingers, which is a type of sea succulent that we dress in a gel made out of lemon.
And then I'll put the white meat in. Olive oil, fresh black pepper. So the crab goes inside. This is a mousse made from all the brown crab meat, which is just going to go inside. And then we're going to top with dashi and yuzu kosher as well, which has just been lightly aerated. And then this is sea fennel. So it's very aniseedy, really powerful flavour. And then tagetti flowers as well. And then we're going to serve this back into the head where all the wonderful brown meat just came out of. We're going to put the rest of the crab inside a lightly set custard, finished with wasabi and sake just on top. This is our set custard. So there's zero texture through here. You've got the wonderful creamy crab meat, wasabi as well, and sake. And then all the texture comes from the croustades, where you've got all the brown meat served inside it, and yuzu kosher as well. Okay, so now we're gonna make our salty small dessert, which is panda piece, goat's milk, truffle honey as well. Okay, so first step, Ben is gonna show you how to make the panda piece.
So I've just got our flour mix here. So this is whole wheat, buckwheat flour, a little bit of bicarb and baking powder in it, and then a mix of spices, so some cinnamon, black pepper, nutmeg, and ginger through it. Then here, I've just got a syrup that I've boiled, made from water and brown sugar. Just brought that up to the boil. So right there is perfect. Spray our tray here. I'm just popping this in here. We're gonna bake this now in the oven on 165 for about 35 minutes. This recipe originates from the pastry captain, so shout out to him. So this is the final product of the panda piece. We just leave it to rest before we slice into it later on.
Okay, so this has had 2 hours to rest. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a slice of the bread, and then we're gonna roast this in burnt arsette, 50% and 50% butter as well. So the reason we do 50% burnt butter, 50% butter, because we still want it to be quite creamy. And also, we don't want the burnt arsette to go too far. This almost feels like sticky toffee pudding. And what we're gonna do is just tear it and add it into the tub. So this is the goat's milk ice cream. So there's goat's milk, tiniest bit of curd as well through there. So we don't need too much because it's quite powerful. This is all the truffle trim and feathered honey as well. So this is going to get doused all over the dish. It's sea salt just on top. So this is fleur de sel. So the Perigord truffle. It's smothered in truffle. smells super strong. So what we're gonna do is add a lid to it, and at the table, we're just gonna open it in front of a customer like so. Here we have our savory style dessert of goat's milk, Perigord truffle, a spicy panda piece, truffled honey, and Ile de Ré salt as well. One thing I want people to know about Behind, we're really trying to create something special on like the fine dining scene where feeling comfortable is super important. My diners are coming in knowing it's gonna be a relaxed, not stuffy environment in a fine dining setting.